7 straight meetings have been decided by 8 or fewer points. Matt, what's your reaction to how this game played out?
Well, we had a wonderful afternoon between Baylor and Iowa State, which was competitive, but Iowa State couldn't get it close. And then Villanova Seton Hall, which was a wonderful back and forth, like really nice physical affair there. Good games for Villanova. Now, Seton Hall was still not at full strength. In fact, I believe with less than a second to go, Seton Hall was literally down to its final 5 players because it only started with 8 and 2 had fouled out previously to that. So credit to Seton Hall on its home floor for keeping this close. I thought Bryce Aiken brought a lot of really good stuff to the floor, and just into Jared Roden, who's been Seton Hall's most consistent player. But it was the player who identified earlier in the day on CBS Sports HQ, Jermaine Samuels. He had a double-double, went for 11 and 11, and he just came up with a lot of really good possessions. Him along with Colin Gillespie, I thought they were huge. Got to mention the return of Brandon Slater as well. You know, Villanova getting this win, I think, steadies the ship a little bit because, as GP said on HQ earlier on Saturday, no one expected Villanova to be a 4-loss team when we flipped to 2022. But that's what it's been. And here, you hit the nail on the head, Hakeem. This has been really one of the better Big East rivalries in the past 3-4 years. And for Villanova to play this well and get Brandon Slater back, who had been unavailable because of a knee injury, I thought it was huge. So a good game. But, you know, if you're Seton Hall, you know, it's no reason to get despondent. I still think that's going to wind up being a tournament team. Villanova's just a little bit better, and it avoids some state of panic by not taking the loss in Newark on Saturday.
Hakeem, if I'm Jay Wright, I feel great about what happened today at the Prudential Center because, you know, Villanova shot only 30% from 3, turned it over 17 times, and they were still able to beat a ranked team, you know, on the road. Now, granted, Seton Hall was shorthanded. They only played 7 guys, but to understand how big of a deal this was, you have to understand how Villanova's season has unfolded to this point. You know, Villanova, as Norlander said, 4-loss team heading into 2022. Nobody expected that. 2 of those losses, the loss to UCLA and the loss to Baylor, they were up by double digits with about 10 minutes to go in regulation, and they lost both of those games. Today, up 9 points at one point in this game, and then with 2 minutes left, they find themselves trailing by a point. You know, at that point, you wonder what starts to kick in. Oh, God, here we go again. About to blow another big lead and take another loss. Instead, they composed, they closed. The moment they went down by a point, they go on a 6-1 run to take control of that game and get out of the Prudential Center with a victory. And so that's the type of thing good teams, more accurately, good programs do. They learn from previous mistakes. They actually do get better as the season goes along. Every coach loves to tell you we're going to get better. Not all teams do. But Villanova being able to take that punch from Seton Hall in a hostile environment this afternoon, go down with 2 minutes to go, come back, win the game, pull away late, that's really encouraging stuff, and why you'd be wild to focus on the 4 losses Villanova's already taken and suggest there'll be anything other than what we thought they were going to be in the preseason, which is among the favorites to win the Big East, go to a Final Four, and maybe, just maybe, win a national championship.
Matt, what's one thing people should know about Villanova and Seton Hall as we settle into the college basketball season?
Well, Villanova is a quality team that doesn't have a lot of size. I mentioned earlier Brian Antoine returning, which was big on Saturday. And he's a good, strong wing alongside Brandon Slater, Eric Dixon. But Villanova, I think there's a certain, like, Villanova has a really good reputation for being, you know, a team that can get to a Final Four. I think its lack of size is actually going to potentially hold it back down the road, but still a good team, can win the Big East. But keep that in mind there. I've seen them be restricted by how wing and guard dependent they are. And then as for Seton Hall, you know, Kevin Willard, you want to go big picture, people settling into the college basketball season right now. Kevin Willard has gotten Seton Hall to a place where the NCAA tournament and winning games there is the expectation. Think about what Seton Hall was 8 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. That really wasn't the state of the program there. And so I think that Seton Hall will be a top half of the league kind of team in the Big East. Jared Roden, first team all-league kind of player, in my opinion. When he gets going, he's almost like the barometer for that team, but also the other part of this, that Seton Hall fans, it's kind of like a double-edged sword thing. I don't know where we're going to go with the Maryland job opening, but I can tell you this. Kevin Willard if he gets Seton Hall into that mix where it's a single-digit seed, I would expect him to be a coach that is in the mix to potentially maybe be the next coach at Maryland. I'm not saying he wants to leave Seton Hall. He will leave Seton Hall. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is Kevin Willard's name right now, because of what he's built Seton Hall to be and his familiarity with the area, with the territory, he will be involved there as well. So keep an eye on that. I think the Pirates don't quite have as high of a ceiling as Villanova, but I do think that they're getting to the tournament and will be one of at least 5 Big East teams to do so.
7 straight meetings decided by 8 points or less. Another thriller on this afternoon on CBS. Gary Parrish, Matt Norlander breaking down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, men. And for more, check out the Eye on College Basketball podcast with Matt and Gary, delivering inside commentary and reporting throughout the season, covering all the biggest storylines in college hoops. The Eye on College Basketball podcast. Download and subscribe today.